Look at the room you are in right now. You can see walls and light and objects in space. It feels complete. It feels like the full picture of what is actually there. And yet everything you are perceiving right now is a tiny filtered sliver of what physically exists in that room. Most of what is actually happening around you is completely invisible to you, not because it is hidden, but because your brain decided long before you were born that you did not need to know about it. And the question that should unsettle you is this: what if the things your brain decided to filter out are not trivial? What if reality is not what you cannot see yet? What if reality is mostly what you are already not seeing? Your eyes can detect electromagnetic radiation within a very narrow band of wavelengths, what we call visible light. But that narrow band represents less than 0.1% of the full electromagnetic spectrum. Radio waves pass through your body right now. Microwaves, infrared radiation, ultraviolet light, X-rays, gamma rays, all of it moving through and around you continuously and none of it visible to you. Not because these things are exotic or distant, because your visual system was built to ignore them. This is not a failure of human biology. It is a design choice made by evolution. The wavelengths of light that are useful for navigating a physical environment, detecting food, identifying threats, and reading the faces of other humans occupy a specific range. Seeing outside that range would not have helped your ancestors survive, so the capacity was never developed. You did not lose the ability to see the full electromagnetic spectrum. You never had it, and you have been walking through a world flooded with invisible information ever since. But electromagnetic radiation is only the beginning. Physicist Carlo Rovelli at the University of Aix-Marseille has argued for years that the picture of reality that physics is converging on looks almost nothing like the picture your brain presents to you. In his work on quantum gravity and relational quantum mechanics, Rovelli argues that physical reality is not made of objects that have definite properties independent of observation. Reality, at its most fundamental level, is a network of interactions and relationships. Properties do not exist until something interacts with something else. The solid, stable world of objects that your brain shows you is not an accurate picture of what is physically there. It is a stable, useful fiction that your brain generates to help you act effectively in an environment that is actually far stranger than it appears. The chair you are sitting on does not feel solid because it is solid in any deep physical sense. It feels solid because the electromagnetic forces between the atoms in the chair and the atoms in your body prevent them from passing through each other. At the scale of the atoms themselves, there is almost nothing there, mostly empty space and force fields. The solidity is something your nervous system constructs, not something it detects. Cognitive scientist Donald Hoffman at the University of California, Irvine has spent decades developing what he calls the interface theory of perception. His argument is radical and deeply counterintuitive. Evolution did not design your perceptual system to show you reality accurately. It designed your perceptual system to show you what you need to survive. Accuracy and survival utility are not the same thing. In many cases, they actively conflict. A perceptual system that showed you everything accurately would be overwhelmed with information and would be slower to respond to threats. So evolution built a system that aggressively filters, compresses, and simplifies. What you experience as reality is an interface, like the desktop of a computer. The icons on the desktop do not show you what is actually happening inside the machine. They show you a simplified representation that lets you act on it effectively. Hoffman ran mathematical simulations of competing organisms, some with perceptual systems tuned to show accurate representations of reality, some with perceptual systems tuned only for survival utility. In every simulation, the organisms tuned for survival consistently outcompete the organisms tuned for accuracy. Truth lost to usefulness every time. Which means your brain was not built to show you reality. It was built to help you survive. And those two things are not the same. There is another dimension to this that reaches even deeper. Neuroscientist Anil Seth at the University of Sussex argues that what we call conscious perception is a controlled hallucination. Your brain is not waiting for reality to arrive and then reporting it. Your brain is constantly generating predictions about what is out there and then updating those predictions with a small stream of incoming sensory data. What you experience as seeing the room around you is mostly your brain's prediction of what the room looks like. The actual sensory input is used only to correct the prediction when it goes wrong. This means that on a moment-to-moment basis, you are living mostly inside a model your brain built from past experience and is continuously running forward. The room you think you are seeing right now is mostly a prediction. The feeling that you are perceiving it directly is an illusion generated by the model feeling seamless. So when you ask whether reality is missing most of the information around you, the answer is more complicated than a simple yes. Reality, in the physical sense, contains vastly more information than your brain processes. But reality as you experience it is not a window onto the physical world. It is a model built by a brain that discards most of what is physically there in order to show you only what was historically useful for survival. You are not seeing the world. You are seeing the world your brain decided was worth showing you. And most of the rest of it has been there all along.